Jacob, in the case of Caterpillar, you've got a company that had great success and brand development, being innovative in a technology that was quite some time ago, 90 years ago, and now is working to basically converge that success with a whole new domain of businesses and enterprises. How do you take an industry that already believes that it is fabulously innovative and convince them that, in fact, in one particular aspect of their business, they're, not even of this century. They're doing things with efficiencies that are, completely retro.
Yeah, it's the case in the data center space, but it's also the case in just infrastructure in general. So when you look at Caterpillar, they sell a product, that earth mover, that machine, it rolls off the factory. There's a great opportunity to pull data on it to do continual improvement. That hasn't existed in buildings because buildings are made up of multiple products and kind of the umbilical cord of information is cut. And so if you look at our Intertech group, for example, the unleashing of innovation by looking at systems as a whole, what they did is looked at, let's just rethink cooling in the data center space and how much incremental improvement can we get. Chiller plants were invented back in the 20s, still basically the same chiller used today. Cooling towers invented back in the 20s. 40% of the world's water goes to cooling of buildings and power production. And so what Intertech did is really an approach around, let's look at the system end to end. And what they arrived at was a system that uses 85% less water, 80 to 90% reduction in energy for cooling. So just what I would say to kind of everybody is the untapped capability of kind of bringing Silicon Valley type innovation, iterations, as you talk about in your book, is just tremendous. The area of infrastructure, the amount of that we need in the world and the amount that we are going to build, there's just a tremendous opportunity to save dramatically and also go at it from different business models. So in the case of our data centers, we actually took the data center and we deliver that as a utility, whereas before we started doing that, data centers are big, static, capitally intensive investments that you have to predict your need for. And that leads to a massive amount of provisioning waste. Our focus was, let's not only develop the technology to be able to change it, let's also come up with a new delivery model so that corporations don't have to be in the prediction game of kind of the unpredictable, right? You look at nanotechnology, you look at where IT's going, what corporation can predict how much IT they're going to need for Internet of Things, to do all the sequencing on the pharmaceutical side. It's just impossible to predict. So we wanted to create kind of a predictive-less approach to the data center.
See, I love that about Jake's story is that, as much as I love all the technologies, it's not about the technology. It's about the fact that he thought through, this company's thought through, it's a great example of business model innovation. They said, here's an opportunity of wasted utilization. Let's go to market in a completely different way. That to me is so important in this digital transformation, and I think that's a great example of it.